The State of the Union was earlier this week, and the Trump campaign has released a new ad against President Biden. And Robert De Niro makes comments about Trump. And we're going to talk about that and more today on Speechless. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Speechless. I am your host, Kev Phares, 23-year-old conservative activist and host of Speechless on the radio, but not everything I talk about can make it onto the radio, so make sure to not miss a minute of it, to like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you think, share it with your friends, all that fun stuff. But let's get right on into it. As I mentioned earlier, this week, let's get right on into it. Earlier this week, President Biden made his State of the Union address in which he looked more coherent than pretty much he has in the last 4 years. I wonder what steroids, cocaine, or Adderall, if not all three, he was pumped up with. However, there were many statements in it that Donald Trump, former president and current presidential candidate, had made about the speech. And it's even turned itself into a campaign ad. And so we're going to take a look and a listen today at this recently released campaign ad from the Trump campaign. Take a look.
Look, I'm not a young guy. That's no secret. Anyway.
Trump 2024, Make America Great Again. A good ad. And honestly, when it comes to the strategy of the campaign, it is relatively smart and almost in some ways genius to focus significantly, not even purely on Biden's age, but his mental acuity, because Trump is not quite a young guy himself. Trump, if elected, will be as old as Biden was when Biden was elected in 2020. But it is clear that the mental acuity and efficiency is much stronger within Trump than it ever has been within Biden within the last 10, 15 years. You look back, even when Biden was vice president, he had gaffes, memory issues, and further. And so for the Trump campaign to be focusing so much on this is probably the smartest move, because while Biden has a lot of other failures in economic, immigration, and so many other policies, even foreign affairs, that's not as easily digestible to a wide variety of Americans. You could have people on varying levels of intelligence, degrees, or things that they have done in their lives and experiences, to where almost all will understand the problem with having the leader of our nation being a bumbling, screaming at the moon idiot like Joe Biden. And I hate to even say idiot. I'm sorry. I'll apologize, because it's not his fault to an extent. He's 80 some years old, 82, something like that. This man is basically, we're playing Weekend at Biden's here, is being propped up as a puppet with definitely something shoved up somewhere by somebody else to keep him moving just enough, keep him alive just enough, so that they can keep their power and growing their own status and wealth. And when I say they, I'm talking about the people that surround Biden, those that are really playing the game. We all know. But when it comes to Trump, he is consistently under attack, not even necessarily for his age, but because he's just a big old meanie. Orange man bad. The same thing we've been hearing for years and years and years. Trump's a racist, a sexist, a homophobe, a xenophobe. All of those things under the sun. A bigot. And that's exactly what an actor I usually like in a lot of movies, has to say about Trump. But once again, this is an actor. How your political opinion, how important really is it, Mr. De Niro? He rips Trump as a, quote, total monster, and says more on, he was recently in the movie Killers of the Flower Moon, a Scorsese film, and he even says more about whether or not he'd play him in a film. Take a look and a listen at De Niro on Bill Maher's show.
The guy is a total monster. And anybody, I don't understand it. I guess they get behind that kind of logic. They want to fuck with people, screw them, because they're unhappy about something. He's such a mean, nasty, hateful person. I never play him as an actor because I can't see any good in him. Nothing at all. Nothing redeemable in him. And we have to, and whoever the people are who want to vote for him, and there look like intelligent people around there. For some
Thank you, Mr. DeNiro. I appreciate the compliment.
reason, it can't be. It cannot be. If he wins the election, you won't be on the show anymore. He'll come looking for me. There'll be things that happen that none of us can imagine. That's what happens in that kind of a dictatorship, which is what he says. Let's believe him. Take him at his word.
I did from the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, I said from the very beginning, this guy is never going to concede power, and he still hasn't.
No.
He still hasn't. He still hasn't admitted he lost the last election, and he advertises that he will go on. He says he's been cheated out of one term, so maybe we should get rid of a president only gets 2 terms thing. So
He's a sociopathic, psychopathic, malignant narcissist.
I didn't know actors from movies had the ability to diagnose such a thing. Look, I've conceded many times on this show that it's clear that Donald Trump cares a lot about his ego, whether that makes him a sociopathic, psychopathic, narcissist. He's listing those things the same way that lefties list racist, sexist, homophobic, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, no. And when he says he's going to be a dictator, take him at his word. Did you hear? That's the clip everybody always keeps referring to, but once again, taking out of context. He says only on day one, which is pretty much what every president does. I mean, this is exactly what Biden did on Biden's day one. He literally got rid of pretty much through executive order, more executive orders than almost any other president on day one, got rid of pretty much everything Trump had tried to do over those 4 years. Along with that, I think it's hilarious that that DeNiro says that he wouldn't play Trump in a movie because he can't find anything redeemable about him. Well, let's look at some of the roles like Frank Sheeran in The Irishman. Okay, that's a Scorsese film in which he plays a hitman. What about in the movie Casino when De Niro plays Sam, Ace Rothstein, who pretty much uses everyone around him to advance himself and then ends up dying because he flew too close to the sun. Or you look at Max Caddy in Cape Fear. You could go even further back and look at Taxi Driver, not necessarily the most redeemable characters. Maybe even Vito Corleone. Look, I'm not going to act like a lot of these characters that he played don't have necessarily some redeemable qualities, but to act like hitmen for the mob that you played in other films are somehow better or more morally sound than a guy who to you just says some mean things sometimes. And also the absolute hyperbole of De Niro and fear-mongering of De Niro trying to claim that Donald Trump's going to go after people and not allow Bill Maher a show. Bill Maher had a show for years while Donald Trump was president. De Niro acted in movies while Donald Trump was president. He's already been president. And to act like he's now going to come out in the next, and now he's going to take you down, and you're not going to be allowed to do that anymore. You have to be a special level of stupid and live in a certain bubble in your ivory towers to believe that's actually true. And so, wow, I'll admit, I like the movie Casino. I like Taxi Driver. I like The Irishman. And I think De Niro's a great actor. Maybe you shouldn't play Trump because you've obviously lost your way to be so profoundly stupid. But I don't know. While he might be stupid, he still is worth a prayer. And so I'll pray for people like that. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm curious about that new Trump ad and what De Niro had to say about him too. And in the meantime, everybody, God bless you. God bless America. God bless Robert De Niro. God bless Trump. You've been watching Speechless.